Hello everyone, I'm Chester44 and welcome to this Let's Play of Geneforge 3! Well, we've solved many of the problems here on Harmony Isle and cleared everything out. Time for us to go to Dhonal Isle. We have to go to the main city there and talk to the guy in charge. Figure out what we can do, what there is to do about everything going on here. So, let's head to the Dhonal docks and head on to Dhonal Isle. As you walk, Alwyn starts to speak. This is good. This is very good. You ask what he means. It is good to fight for the Shapers. It is good to act. Schooling is good. It is valuable. But being out here, acting, it gives me a true feeling of value, of achievement. I am ready to go to Dhonal's Isle, eager to keep slaying rogues and hunting the Shaper traitors. He chuckles, imagining the months of happy carnage ahead. I cannot wait. Alwyn, you're a little overzealous. You gotta get control of that. I would like to go to the docks. Finn waves you on. Feel free. Word came from Dwania. Someone came up here and did some magical thingamy with the door. You can go through whenever you want. Thank you. At last you have reached the Dhonal docks. They have been completely abandoned. The sailors and workers have all fled for the far safer confines of Sanru. There is a single boat waiting at the docks. It is a small skiff. You could safely pilot it to Dhonal's Isle, but not much farther than that. Dhonal's Isle is the largest landmass in the Ashen Isles. It has been settled for over a century. There you can find the capital of this remote province and the most powerful shaper from many miles around, Lord Rahul. If anyone can make sense of the madness swirling around you, he can. Is there anything in here we could use? Null wand, plate vambraces. No. We're not taking those. Essence vambraces are much more worth it, but we can sell them. Saltweed, an armor potion, and another pod, which I don't remember what was. And in here, dried herbs. Dried herbs. Not sure if we really need to take them after this point, really. Oh well. We're going to need to go back eventually once we find a place to put stuff. Though the docks were well defended, it was not impossible for someone to slip in. Someone snuck into here and left a note for you, addressed to you by name. It hangs from a nail pounded into one of the posts. I have heard what you have done. I have heard that you have gone to great risk and trouble to undo my work. I am displeased. Do not destroy the rogues I went to such trouble to place on the other islands. Instead, work with me against your tyrannical kind. If you do not take this last chance, I will be angry. Rest assured that you will not survive my anger. A servile agent will contact you on Dhonal's Isle and tell you how you may serve me. Keep an eye open and take this chance when it is offered. And do not flee to the mainland. Keep yourself safe from the terrors emerging there. Latalia. No, Latalia. I don't think so. I will listen to what you have to say, but I'm not going to take part in terrorist acts like that. I am not going to terrorize these kinds of people. I am not going to do such things. Say what you want. I'm not going to do that. And I'm going to stand against you for that. You'll answer for your crimes. You will. Either way, let's head on to Dhonal's Isle. It is a long, difficult journey piloting the small skiff over the choppy seas. However, you have managed to navigate it to Fort Wilton, the second largest settlement on Dhonal's Isle. Dhonal's Isle was the first of the Ashen Isles to be settled over a century ago. At first, it was, like Greenwood Isle, mined for its crystals. However, after the mines were played out, Dhonal's Isle found a second calling as a home for craftsmen. When the mines were still functional, many crystal workers, alchemists, and wand makers came to the isle. When the crystals stopped coming out of the ground, they started importing them. They worked in isolation at first until the quality of their craftsmanship became widely known. Now Dhonal's Isle has the largest concentration of mages and shapers for hundreds of miles, even counting nearby Terestia. You feel greatly relieved to have finally gotten here. You hope that Lord Rahul and his powerful circle of its shapers had succeeded in keeping their chaos at bay. Your hopes don't last long. Fort Wilton is not really a fort anymore. It is more a cluster of stores and workshops around the old stone wall that used to protect the settlement. You are inside the old wall now. It looks like the fort has been attacked recently. And it smells like it too. The old stone wall has scorched marks on it, and you smell sulfur and blood in the air. You also see a battle alpha. Because of the months of quarantine, the inactive docks have been converted to a punishment place for creations. A battle alpha, furious and rogue, is chained up before you. When it sees you watching it, it snarls. But then it quickly quiets down. It hears what you hear, the sound of boots on stone cobblestones getting closer. Arrgh. There's some people. 3 soldiers walk up behind the battle alpha. As it begins to vainly struggle to break its chains, the middle warrior says, "I am Captain Celeste of the defensive courts of Fort Wilton. This alpha has been found to be infected and rogue. It has been deemed necessary to dispose of it. Does anyone wish to speak for it and its continued utility?" Captain Celeste doesn't give anyone the chance to speak. She clearly doesn't expect anyone to say anything on behalf of this clearly maddened creature. Greta seems to be about to say something, but she's not fast enough. With a fast, smooth motion, the captain raises her baton to the back of the alpha's head. "I kill you!" Or maybe not. Welp. Her ugly business done, Captain Celeste approaches you. She had already heard of your arrival, of course, but she clearly felt that the battle alpha needed to be dealt with first. She looks upset. Killing creations is clearly not something she enjoys doing. "Greetings, Shaper. Welcome to Dhonal's Isle. I was told that you might arrive, and I am glad. We could definitely use another Shaper to help us. I am sorry you had to witness the ugliness with that battle alpha. It needs to be done more and more often these days." Why did the alpha need to be destroyed? "It went rogue. An increasingly common problem. Tried to kill one of the human soldiers. Came close to succeeding. We might have been able to regain control, but the odds did not seem good. And putting ourselves at risk didn't seem like the right option, so the order was given." What do you mean it has to be done more often? "I think that the commander would want to discuss that with you himself. He is in the inn." It is a shame. Couldn't you have done more to try to regain control of it? Captain Celeste seems very irritated by this response, but she bites her lip. It takes her a moment to regain her composure. "I did not want to slay that creature. If you have a problem with what happened, you should speak to the Shaper who made it. I am not to blame for what it tried to do. But this is not important. I was sent to welcome you and tell you what you need to know. I will do so." What do I need to know? "Because of the quarantine, nobody from off the island is allowed to leave the docks without permission and inspection. I'm sure you understand the risks involved with introducing poorly made creations to this situation, so this rule applies doubly to Shapers. But I don't think you will have any trouble. You need to speak with the customs agent and the commander, and you should be fine." "Where's the commander?" Celeste points at the largest building in the fort. It is a huge inn in the center of town, which was actually built into the old stone wall. "The commander is, as always, in the inn. The front door is over there." She points to the west. "Where's the customs office?" Celeste points to the northwest. "It's just past the inn." "Where should I go once I can leave?" Celeste looks surprised by the question. "I have no idea. You're the Shaper, after all. But if you want to go to Dhonal's Keep, and I suspect you do, you should go north." "Thank you for your assistance. Good day." "And the same to you, Shaper. If you need to know anything else, please track me down. I'll be by the end." Well, that was the thing. Greta is not pleased with what happens here. This looks like the boat works. This workshop is where the small boats were built, repaired, and so on. Of course, because of the quarantine, it is a much quieter place. The shipwright is currently here, looking for work to do. Occasionally, she casts a worried look at the shaping vat that is, for some reason, taking up space by the east wall. She seems very relieved to see Shaper. "Welcome to my shop. I am Sistilla. Things are very quiet around here, so it's good to have company." "What work do you do here?" "I am a shipwright." Well, was. I built small skiffs to move from island to island and helped repair the big ships that connect us to Terrestia. Now, though, I mainly look for odd jobs and try to get by. How could I get to the mainland? Well, you couldn't get to Terrestia with the skiffs we have. They're barely able to make the journey safely from one island to the other. To cross to other islands, we usually use ships, but none of them have traveled to the island since the trouble started. They were all back at Terrestia, waiting for permission to come out here. Right now, we're all stuck here. How is it possible to get to other islands? Oh, I wouldn't recommend it. The boats we have available aren't safe for travel to the Northern Ashen Isles, and you would have to get permission from Lord Rahul. You can get back to Harmony Isle from here, but to get anywhere else, you will need to try a different dock. Of course. You're doing odd jobs? She casts a hateful look at the shaping vat. I'm trying. Not working out too well, though. Sistilla watches you, waiting to see what else you have to say. How have you been dealing with the quarantine? Well, there were always bits of tinkering that needed doing, and I'm keeping my tools in good repair and trading for supplies. But if you really want to know how I am doing, I think badly is the right answer. She seems irritated. Why do you have a shaping vat in here? Because the word got out that I was looking for tinkering work, and eventually a wagon shows up with that thing in it. The crafters in Dhonal's keep are too busy working on weaponry to maintain stuff like that thing, so they send it down and say I should make it work, and I have no idea what it's for or how to fix it. So there it sits. Every once in a while, I stare at it for a while. Well, let me take a look at this thing. You inspect the shaping vat. Now that you know that it's broken, you try to see what might be wrong with it. It's not hard to figure it out. The hinge is bent. This prevents the lid from making the airtight seal needed to protect the creation growing inside. With a little work, you might be able to repair it. Sure, we can do that. You try to repair the vat, but soon find that you don't have an appropriate tool in hand. Well, huh. Alright then. I guess we need to find the right tool. Whatever it could be. Maybe we need to find some regular tools. Although there is little work to be done working on parts for ships, the town smith has plenty to do making and repairing weapons. He is at work sharpening a broadsword when you walk in. He immediately sets down his hammer to greet you. Ah, a new customer. Always a good thing to see. I'm Philip, and this is my smithy. How can I help? Do you mainly work on ships and weapons? This is Dhonal's Isle, home of the skilled, home of craftsmen. The men and women here make everything, or spend their time trying to learn it. What sort of items are made here? Your life story is written on a grain of wheat. A wand to take apart a creation before your eyes. A sword that can cut air. We are remote here on Dhonal, but we are skilled and getting more so. What are you trying to learn how to do? The question dampens his spirits slightly. Well, I was trying to make a blade of high enough quality for a shaper to work with to do what magic you do to enchant it, but things went wrong. What went wrong? To put the finishing touches on a blade like that, you need a special sort of enchanted forge. There was one on Dhonal's keep, but it broke not long ago, and they can't get a replacement from the mainland. I would give anything for access to an enchanted forge, but as far as I know, there isn't one on this island. So I'm stuck making spearheads and nails. Are you sure there's no such forge on this island? Well, there might be one. There was an old mine to the west of here, the Darkstone mine. Lots of shapers there, doing lots of stuff. Too much stuff. Some experiment went wrong, they died, mine's closed up. Of course, if they had such a forge and it was still there, we might be able to bring it out. But we'd have to know where it is first. It shouldn't be too hard. Philip keeps rapping at his broadsword while he speaks with you. Soon, no doubt, it will take its place among all the others in the rack by the wall, waiting to defend the cities. Alright. I need to do some training. Oh, of course. He sets aside his hammer for the moment. Dhonal's Isle is the best place around for gear. To get better, you'd have to go to Terrestia, or beyond. Do you want to buy or sell? I still have a few good items left. Well, we want to sell these plate van braces. And any equipment you have left? Wow, that's a new appearance. Good armor, too. But we don't need anything. Thank you, though. We'll keep you in mind if ever we need any armor or weapons. Or if we need to sell anything. Or anything like that. Couple creations up there. This creation was made to protect the fort from an unexpected attack. Unfortunately, the rogues wandering the island have been very upsetting to it. That is why it is being kept chained up in here. Should an attack come, a soldier will come by and release it. Of course, when that day comes, there is a fair chance that this creation will lose control. It is not a good situation. Yeah, it doesn't sound like a good situation. When you try to walk out of the inner fort, the guard alpha by the gate stops you. No, me told to stop you. You need tell can go to go. Go see Celeste. So say you how to go. I'd say I screwed up how I said that, but, yeah. That is Celeste. Okay, the captain you met at the docks is sitting on this bench, slumped against the wall of the inn behind her. She doesn't look like she has much to do most of the time. They're pretty secure inside the wall. She looks up at you and fakes a smile. Hello, Shaper. Anything else you need? I'm supposed to assist you with anything you need. Tell me about what has been happening on the island. I don't hear much about what is happening. Locked up in this fort, you know. All I know is that a lot of the island is overrun with monsters, but our soldiers are holding them back. Good for them! How can I get to Dhonal's Keep? It's north of here, just up the road. I think the road is clear of monsters, mostly anyway. Just go north and look for signs pointing to the pass. A pass? Yes, through the mountains to the north. Easiest way to get to Dhonal's Keep. Been that way for a century. By the way, I heard rumors that there are monsters hiding in the pass, and they ambush people sometimes. Don't pay any attention to them. There's always rumors like that going around. There any other ways to Dhonal's Keep? A few. I know there are tunnels along the west coast, through old mines, factories, and so on. Don't really know anything about it. Just know that they've been digging and building in these mountains so long the paths go all the way to the city. Interesting. How can I get on... What has been happening around the fort? It's been mostly quiet around here so far. Every so often some rogues stumble into us. They don't last long. Around here there's mostly just abandoned workshops and groups of refugees from the west half of the island. Abandoned workshops? Yeah, from the old mining days. Polishing houses, sorting houses, storehouses, and so on. Most of the craftsmen work in the keep or keep the mines themselves. The woods around here are mainly being left to the big woods. Are there a lot of refugees? More and more every day, as the monsters creep east. They're mostly a good lot, though, not causing trouble, trusting the Shapers, not like on Harmony Isle. Though there is one thing that has been troubling me. What's the problem? Rumors, you know, rumors. I've just been hearing that there's a group of serviles hiding in with the refugees. The nasty kind of servile, the one that is armed and tries to stir up the other serviles. I've been paying attention inside the fort and making sure to watch the serviles. It's the refugees in the areas outside the fort that worry me. It's probably just rumors, but if you did come across something like that out there, I hope you could, well, take care of them. We don't need those extra problems. You can offer assistance? Can I get more supplies? Celeste sighs. She had hoped that you wouldn't think of it, but a command like that from a Shaper can't be ignored. Alright, Shaper, one moment. She disappears into the inn for a minute. Soon she returns with a living tool and a pouch of spores. Here you go. This is what the commander says we can spare. Alright then. Thank you. At least it's something. That's probably a customs officer. There's a thin, tired, aging man sitting at this table. He is surrounded by a wide variety of tools, scales, magnifying glasses, and other tools of his trade. He must be the customs officer, here to inspect creations and goods coming in and out to make sure nothing dangerous gets where it shouldn't be. He doesn't look like you impressive. He's seen 1,000 Shapers just like you. The new Shaper. I'm Vincenzio. I assume you're here for your inspection. Let's get started. You are the customs officer? Oh yes, been so for, well, from the looks of things, before you were born. This is one of only 2 ports where goods and creations from Terrestia can enter the Ashen Isles. Any products of shaping that enter or leave the Isles must be inspected. It is difficult, though, in this time of strife. With the constant distractions from attacks or from guards going rogue, sometimes things slip by. Where is the other port to Terrestia? The only other port that can handle ships large enough to safely reach the continent of Terrestia is at Dhonal's Keep. If you wish to return to the mainland, you'd have to go there. What has been slipping by? He is very reluctant to discuss his lapses. However, you are convincing enough to get the information out of him. Well, I regret to say 2 things have slipped through the net, one going in and one going out. There is a claw bug, a strange strain, marked by a single stripe running down its back. Very unusual. And alas, off the island now. There was a crate. I was never able to inspect what was inside. It ended up on a merchant train going out of town. Perhaps it was put on by a distracted servile, and perhaps it was smuggled. Perhaps I can track down that claw bug for you. I doubt it. It snuck onto a boat heading for Gull Island, and nobody's being allowed to go there. I don't even know what was so unusual about it, apart from the stripe on its back. All I know is that it was dangerous and supposed to be destroyed. Now it's long gone. I could keep an eye open for that crate. If you're roaming about and you happen to see it, I'd appreciate it. The crate was addressed to someone named Moralas, who turns out not to exist. The caravan it was was heading north into the pass. Tell me about this fort. Oh, well, it used to be much more impressive. A mighty wall, warriors inside ready to fight, and so on. Then, well, you know what damage years of peace and prosperity can cause. Now there are all sorts of shops and warehouses clumped to the outside of the wall like barnacles. Not a good situation when you might actually have to defend things. I need to be inspected? Oh, of course. As a shaper, you must know how dangerous a new life form can be when introduced to an area not prepared to it. Small creations, diseases, and so on. Very dangerous. So are you ready for me to inspect you? Will only take a minute. Alright, inspect me. Vincenzio jumps from his seat and starts circling you, examining you carefully. Then he does the same thing, leaning closer with a magnifying glass to look for tiny creations that might be clinging to your clothes. Your equipment gets a similar inspection. He weighs some of your gear for reasons unclear to you. Those traveling with you are also inspected just as carefully. Alwyn seems uncomfortable being judged by an outsider, but he recognizes the importance of proper controls. He is passed. Vincenzio looks at Greta dubiously, as if he isn't sure what she is doing traveling with you. He inspects her. She passes. Good, you are safe, or as safe as can be reasonably determined. If and when you get the commander's clearance, you can leave the fort. That's all for now. Thanks. Excellent. No, I'm not gonna... Those are probably where we'd get our rewards for, well, what is going on out here. What was asked for. Auction hall. This hall used to be the bustling trading center of Fort Wilton, where goods coming in and out of the fort were haggled over. Auctions were run in the west half of the hall, and thousands of coins could change hands in seconds. But times changed quickly. There is only one merchant here now. She has a scattering of items on her table, and she looks almost pitifully glad to have a customer. Hello, welcome. I am Heather. Come look at my goods. I don't have much for a shaper adventure, but I have a few things. Alchemical goods, crystals. Have a look. Maybe I can make you a deal. How did you come to be on this island? Well, I'm not here by choice, I'm afraid. I got here by ship just before the quarantine trapped me here. I brought goods for craftsmen on this island. Now I'm trying to find a way to get to Dhonal's keep safely. It's not easy. So you didn't grow up here? Oh, of course not. What sort of provincial do you take me for? What do you mean? Well, don't get me wrong, the destiny of shapers and mages on this island is remarkable. More shapers in the keep up to the north than for many miles around. But these islands are still crude, remote, uncultured. Not for me. No offense. Phew! Gee, thanks a lot, woman! How will you get back to the mainland? Wait! Right now, there are no ships large and safe enough to make it to Terestia and the Ashen Islands. We've all been trapped here. We don't know what is happening on the mainland, and they don't know what is happening to us. What a lovely state of affairs. It's not safe to go to Dhonal's keep? Well, the only route there that a respectable merchant would follow is through the pass. North of here, of course. But I've been hearing that the pass isn't safe anymore. Ambushes and so on. Until I can get some facts about what is happening, I am keeping my gemstones here. Fair enough. Alright, do we have anything to sell? No. Does she have anything to sell? Mandrake tincture? Could be useful sometime if we ever need it. Nothing else, though. So that's all. Huh. I find it interesting that we can interact with that. I wonder if this hammer is needed to fix that item. That or regular tools? Let's find out. Repair the vat. It only takes a few well-placed swings from your hammer to straighten the hinge. It's fixed now. Okay. I had a look at the vat and it's fixed now. She runs over and looks at it. Of course, it looks exactly the same to her as it did before. She shrugs. Thank you, Shaper. It's nice to see it. Well, if you say it's fixed, it's fixed. Since you fixed it, you might as well take the tools they sent with it for fixing it. I don't know what to do with them. She gives you some living tools. Of course, an untrained outsider would have little idea how to use such delicate instruments. They also sent her a pod of essence. You have no idea why they would do that. Huh. That's interesting. We don't need that hammer anymore. But that's interesting. Whoever was in charge of that, they were really out of touch of what was needed to fix that. Sure, living tools could have, but apparently all that was needed was a couple swings from a hammer. If all else fails, whack it with a hammer. Percussive maintenance, as they say.